What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Aligning the Stars. I'm Jordan, and welcome back to the USS Enterprise build. Uh, After all of the jank over the last little bit with the Millennium Falcon, I gotta be honest. I am looking forward to a little bit of a higher quality model for this one and for this video, and just kind of enjoying the overall build process. And so, let's go ahead and open up the fourth package now. We got a Soji, and she's going to kind of come in and out of the frame. This time she's not eating the box, which is what happened right there. So, anyway, here we go. I am supposed to be getting the tool case, not the tool case, the screw case, which from what I've seen from the advertisement for, well, not the advertisement, but this is what you're going to get for this next package. It looks kind of big, so let's see. Let's go ahead and open up here. Okay. Oh, there is the toolkit. Okay, that's pretty reasonably sized. Okay, so it says Star Trek Next Generation, NCC 1701D, 2020. Oh, okay, looks like your basic screw box. Let's go ahead and pull that out. Okay, well, that's pretty cool and fairly simple and basic. I like it. Cool. Wow, that's a lot. I might actually combine both models into that. Apparently, there's a bug, and we have both Soji and Mochi looking around. So we'll see here. Okay. Oh, interesting. So here is all of the stuff. Okay, so this is stage 14. Got some lights, another frame piece. There's actually kind of a few pieces of frame in here. Something there. Okay, interesting. Okay. 13, another frame piece. Oh, cool. The impulse engine. Nice. Okay, awesome. Stage 12. Oh, yeah, we got some lighting sections back here for the back of the battle section. Super awesome. And some connection pieces. And then looks like this should be number 11 right here. We got some LEDs and another piece of the frame. So, okay, cool. And then we have our magazine, which, like last time, is a thick boy. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to building these. I'm going to try to do all of these tonight, although I am having some computer problems with power, so I'm not quite sure. My laptop is overheating when I'm plugged in, so if anybody you know what's going on with that, it's kind of interesting. So it works just fine when it's under its own power, but when it's plugged in, it overheats really fast. I got a new adapter, everything. So that's currently what's going on with that. So here are all the parts. I'm going to read this magazine for a moment, get familiar with the next couple stages, and then we are going to get building. See you a second. All right, we are back with stage 11 of the 1701D, and I know I said it in the unboxing video. I'm going to say it again. It is really nice to be able to work with pieces right now that I know are going to fit together properly, as has already been demonstrated in the first 3 shipments of this model. So, enough talking. Let's go ahead and get moving. So, down here, we have our frame section, and you know, if you guys saw with the Millennium Falcon, one of the frame pieces just straight broke. Now, thankfully, Fanhome is awesome. They have taken care of it. The frame piece actually arrived the same day that the Enterprise did, so really cool. I mean, Fanhome's their customer service is fantastic. But I gotta say that D'Agostini model leaves a little bit to be desired. So, like I said, I'm gonna be reviewing these as I go along, and I'm gonna be totally brutally honest. Although it is really cool seeing the parts of that model going together. It's just like this one. It's just kind of a different sort of like experience, like bringing back pieces of my childhood. So anyway, now here's the frame piece. We have some screws here, and a light, an LED, and a reflector piece. So we got our BP screws and our LEDs. So kind of now that I understand a little bit better about how to focus in on things. So it's split into 2 LEDs. Okay. And then each one of these can be split apart. We have the reflector piece with an L, which you know it's going to be going on the left side. Okay. Dull on one side, and then clear and glossy and shiny on the reflector side. Yeah. Next piece here, we have another LED. This one, we have some BM screws as well. Get those open in just a second. This, now we didn't get to see this on the bridge of the of this build, as I hadn't come up with the idea of doing this series on YouTube, and so I took some photos, but not of this process. And so instead of these incredibly tiny little lights and affixing them with these giant fingers, we have this little panel that's already kind of pre-lit and all of that. And that's going to slot into place on the model. And then you can see here the reflector piece. If I can line everything up properly, because I am a dunce. There we are, Jordan. So it kind of fits actually like this. So when it's fixed into place in the model, got the reflector behind it with the LEDs that fit in right there. Okay. And then our signature card, of course. Set that off to the side. So I did read forward a little bit. I found that it has been a little bit more beneficial to do so and make sure that I know what I'm doing, specifically when it comes to bending the LEDs. I'll go up and toss up a photo right now of the instructions here that actually shows you where to bend the LED at. It would have been really nice to have that in the previous issue, because we did have to bend the LED, and I'll show you where. And it's going to be right here, but they didn't tell you that. And so I was like, okay, cool. So anyway, this is the neck to the engineering or battle section, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be doing work for these first couple stages for 11 and 12 here. So without any more talking, let's go ahead and get started. I am going to take my scissors, and because I know that I have the BP and BM screws already, I'm not going to worry about being anything but quick and efficient with getting them out. That screw case is really cool. It's pretty big though. I think I know this might be blasphemy, but I might put both model pieces, screws and stuff like that in there, just for the sake of keeping everything nice and tidy. Everything's starting to pile up a little bit, and I'm running out of storage here. So don't want the house to get taken over with all my little projects. So we're going to start with taking 11B, and let's go ahead and move some of these LEDs out of the way. And I'm assuming that this one is going to be bent as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do so right now. And just do so gently. You don't want to be too hard. I imagine that I'm going to be making room for the shuttle bays anyway. The shuttle bays aren't exposed, but they are going to be slotted in pieces. So either doors or something like that. And probably just doors. You can see the affixing points here. So, all right. Now we're just going to take this piece, and it goes just like that. Okay. Now it is telling us to take one of our strings here. And I'm just going to take a look at the instructions real fast. Make sure that... yeah, these are different light strings. So this one is that color scheme, and this one has a green color scheme. Okay, so definitely, and shorter. So it is important to make sure that I'm getting my wires correct. So rear window light double I is going to be 11E, and it is going to be the longer one here. So I'm going to go ahead and set that off to the side. Get back to our instructions. Okay, so now we're going to identify, and then at the end of the yellow and black cable, we're going to carefully bend this up 90 degrees. So I'm just going to very carefully, is it right at the light? Yep. We're going to bend that right at 90 degrees. Try not to break anything. Best we can. Maybe not go full 90 and then let the piece do the work for that. Okay. Now we're going to take the angled bulb and this, and make sure I got my fitment correct. Get these wires out of the way. Slip that off. And just tuck these wires underneath. Just get them slightly out of the way of view. Okay. Now, take this, fix that into place, and then the way these are going to go is there are some slots built in already into the neck piece, and these are where you're going to put the LEDs into. So the angled one here goes at the very bottom. And I'm hoping I can do this without putting any tape in, which is not looking likely, but I'm going to give it a try. And then this one's just going to go straight in like that. Now, it says don't worry about them, it'll be secured into place. And kind of with this one, I kind of get the sense that that is actually going to be the case. And so I'm going to try to carefully hold that, put that, there we go. Yeah, that fits right into place, and these aren't moving. So kind of had to trust my instincts a little bit on that one. Okay, so now I'm going to take the BP screws and set that right here. I'm going to try to keep my hand in place. I have to admit, I much prefer the screws on this build. They are meant for this screwdriver, and although, still struggling with how to get it on to the screwdriver without too much jank. They actually fit into the screwdriver. Like, I used this one for the Millennium Falcon last 4 stages, and no matter the screws, it was just kind of, it just the screwdriver, it didn't matter. Like, it was the screws just were too small for anything. And so, oh no, I moved it out of place, and then something moved. I thought I can, now that I got one put into place, there we go. Just want to make sure that everything's lined up. I'm going to try to come over here into the corner. See if we can get this without. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, these are super tiny, but they're meant for the screwdriver. I don't get the sense that was the same with the US Agostini build. It's kind of interesting, like I said. If you guys watch the Millennium Falcon build, I know that's probably 2 different fan sets watching these, or just model makers in general. But the Agostini build versus the Eaglemoss build, Eaglemoss, they went down because they just got too big for their britches way too fast. That plus pandemic. And, we all know what happened during the pandemic, and, businesses went under left and right. And, when the priorities and you're not working, it's not spending money on a $2,000 model, $3,000 model, or whatever, and so, yeah, kind of one of those things where, like, the quality of the Eaglemoss, you can tell it's like really good, but it also makes total sense as to why they may have gone down, subjectively. I mean, I don't know, but definitely all the reports that I read out there, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot. When businesses go down, it's sad, but this one is a little, there we go. It's sad, but they're still kind of out there in mild forms. Okay, so that one is taken care of. We got our lights set up aside, and it says that you don't have to bend that one, although I'm going to go ahead and do so anyway, just because we have another side to put on. So I'm just going to go ahead and bend those up. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and set this off. We're going to work on that again in the next stage later on in this episode. So now what we're going to be doing is bringing back the BP screw to done. Once again, the BP, whatever the B stands for, I'm not sure, but the B is plastic, M is metal on metal. So I'm going to bring back the frame piece, the frame section here that we continued to work on since the first, I think it's the second shipment. So yeah, we got this one here. We did some work on it on stage 10, and stage 10 was affixing these two pieces here to the end. So what we're going to do is going to go ahead and turn this over. And yeah, I was figured 10A and 10B. And then this one, I think pretty intuitively, is going to go into place just like that. So perfect. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can drop the screws into place. Just my hand. And there we go. Very nice. Get these tightened down. Yeah, this is so much nicer to work with. I got to be completely honest and real. The Millennium Falcon, of course, it's going to be an amazing build, and we will do all the things to do to make it not janky, so to say. But, we're going to have to do work to it. I'm assuming that as we come along and build the Enterprise, this is going to be the build, and it's going to be forever. Some of the comments that I've seen in some of the videos is, got to worry about sagging, and that does not sound fascinating to me at all. So, got to this piece nice and affixed into place, and we're starting to get pretty big here. And I just switched over to the next page. I'm assuming that this LED is going to be part for into when we go into stage 12. Yeah, when we go into stage 12, it could be that, or this could be for a later part as well. I'm not quite sure. Actually, let's take a look before we go ahead and move on to the next part of this. Let's take a look here. 11D is going to be rear window light eye, and just want to take a look ahead here. I just want to make sure I'm getting everything correct. Yeah, that's that. Oh, how interesting. I'm seeing... Yeah, I did actually get that wrong on the lighting. So, let's go ahead and back up. Well, that's why we read our instructions thoroughly. So, the second light here is actually going to be for something else, and so that's a little disappointing. I want to see if I can go ahead and maybe just remove this screw right here. Yep, looks like we can just remove that one and pull this piece out, and that is going to be for another one. And then read the instructions, take this one, and the yellow and green cable is going to go into the higher of the two. So, yeah, once again, read your instructions, boys and girls, because, as is with anything in life, we want to make sure that you're being thorough. And I was like, why do I have an extra LED? And I'm pretty sure that if I had moved on, like I was about to, I would have just held on to it for a moment, and it would have been embarrassing for old Jordan here. So we're going to go ahead and tighten this down here. And then going to bend this LED slightly up so we can get it out of the way. I feel like bending it in while it's sitting in place feels a little bit more secure and better. It does feel a little strange to be bending. So, all right. Now, it wouldn't be interesting if these are just... I think this one's going to go here, and then that one's going to go here. So these two are going to go on to lighting sections. Okay, so now we have finished stage 11. Thank you so much for watching this one, and we're going to go ahead and move on to stage 12. Okay, we are back with stage 12, and in looking through all of this, I'm definitely a genius for sure. I was like, why do I have so many extra of these BM screws? And it's because I didn't put all 4 screws into place on the frame. And so when we do some work on the frame at the end of this stage, I'll go ahead and add those screws. So let's go ahead and unpackage this one. We're going to start at the top, take out our card. Okay. And then I went ahead and read through these steps, and absolutely, I was correct in the assessment that those windows, or the lights for the windows, are specifically for the other side. So that's why there's no LEDs on this stage. Screws here, the BM screws are being a little tough, so I'm just going to be fumbling around on camera, which is fantastic news. Okay, got the BM here. And I'm just going to go ahead and add them to the pile. BM screws from earlier. I know that we'll have 1 extra from that first stage, and then we're going to have 1 extra from the second stage here. Stages 11 and 12. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the BMs off to the side. I know that's what these are. All right. Now, kind of like in the previous stage, we have the reflector, which has the R imprinted on it for the right side. Or, nautical terms, we have the starboard side. Okay, we got our BP screws here. Know which side is which, so we're good on that front. And then we have some noisemakers. We have some of the frame section pieces, the connectors. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these out and edit that out. And I gotta say that those frame pieces are really stuck in there, and oh, God, I'm glad that's over with. Okay, so definitely glad I did that off camera too, like for sure. Okay, so let's just go ahead. We know exactly what we're doing from the previous steps. We're going to go ahead and fix this one, or from the previous stage, fix that one into place there. Then we're going to carefully, and I was correct in my thought process, that these wires just go directly across from each other. And slide that out of place. It is kind of fine work in here now, so I'm going to try to be a little more careful, not do any damage to anything. Okay, let's put into place. And then we'll bend this one up. Probably now, actually, now that I think about it, let's carefully bend that one. Just do not be ham-handed. Do a Millennium Falcon frame, Jordan. Okay. So that one is bent up slightly so it can fit into place. That one is bent up from the previous one. You know, I wonder what the circuit boards on these are going to look like. It's going to probably be pretty cool. So, just a random thought process. So, let's see if I can get this one in just like so. That one's back into place. Let's get this one. There we go. LEDs. Make sure they're flush into place. All right, nice. Now, let's see if we can do this smoothly. Yeah, I can imagine. I really am curious to see what these circuit boards are going to be like. Probably going to be a lot of little slots to I wonder how many connection points there's going to be. Like, there's so many of these wires we've done so far. And, you know, that's kind of the interesting thing too, is like the Millennium Falcon, you know, doesn't have a whole lot of. Make sure that we're tightening down. There we go. Kind of like the slightest imperceptible movement on my part allows it to go into place. I mean, the Millennium Falcon doesn't have a whole lot of lighting. You know, the engine and, you know, the interiors and stuff like that. So the LED work on there is not going to be as crazy as this, for sure. So I do wonder how many like circuit boards and how is it going to be powered? Is it going to be battery? Like, I think the nacelles are battery powered, if I'm not mistaken. And then other things plug in. I'm definitely, if it has an adapter pack, it's something I'm definitely going to be buying. I know the Millennium Falcon, I think I'm good to let that go. Okay, good. I think with the Millennium Falcon, that's like a separate purchase. I hope that's not the case here, because this is definitely going to be power intensive. I've also been looking at a couple of display cases. I want to get these paper models into the display case sooner rather than later. So, like the Venator and then the Flying Dutchman, I want to get them into display cases so that I don't have to worry about dust management. And with this, for sure, definitely going to be going into a display case. So, same with the Millennium Falcon. Might be a little bit different. We'll see. All right, so we are affixed all into place. And I think it wants us to test out our lighting. So let's go ahead and do so. Let's see here. I think they're all the same. So okay, so the left window light into A. Making sure I got my pins lined up properly. I do not want to damage the pins in any way. So making sure I got everything put into place. We did test these lights last time, but we're testing them now. And then we're going to take the right windows into B, which is going to be this one here. Go ahead and slide that out of the way. This one's going to go into B. It's right here. Nice. Okay, then we're going to take this one is going to go into C, which is going to be the new step. There we go. Into C. Yep. Make sure we're getting it. Yep. I saw the lights flicker on there. There we go. And I'm assuming we're going to go into B. So let us. Oh, everything's lit up. Very nice. Oh, my friends. Check it out. The lighting on that. Let me go ahead and kill the overhead lights real fast. So pull it away from the monitor. So yeah, there's the lighting scheme on the back of the Enterprise. Super cool. Let's go and get our lights back on. Okay. We'll just go ahead and, for right now, I think for the sake of time, I'm going to just unplug the battery. There we go. Super cool. And here we are with the back of the the neck of the engine section, battle section, drive section, whatever you want to call it. But we have our lights put into place with the wiring mess. Oh, curious what that's going to wind up being. All right. So now, before we leave for today, let's go ahead and do some work on the frame itself. I'm going to go ahead and bring back the frame piece that we put together in the last one. I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple screws. And like I said, I fixed them here, but I did not put the screws into their places right here. All right. That one. Nice and secure. And I'm going to go ahead and put this one in here, and then I will say that this right here completes stage 11. All right. So now, I did take time to make sure that these both lined up. This looks to me like it is the front of the saucer section. So the bridge would be right here facing forward. You have the phaser strip probably coming through right about here, somewhere in that neighborhood. NCC 1701D, you know. So yeah, that's kind of, I could be wrong about that, but this is my feeling that that's what that is. And so both of these pieces here, the frame sections, the connectors are the same on both sides. And something tells me that both of these these two frame sections are actually the same. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over, and we are going to put them. The big one goes into the back, right? That's correct. And it's going to go just like this. As always, why are we turning this over, Jordan? We're going to do it this way. And to do so, looks like... Yep. So, I've learned that, in this case, get a screw into place. And then let the screw kind of tell you when it lines up. Or just do whatever you can to make it not weird. And that, I see where it is, thankfully. But this is why I think we might actually turn this over a little bit here, just to make sure we're getting it properly put in place. And I'm going to start with the screw on the outside. You know, what's funny is I haven't, this is completely user error. I'll tell you that right now. It is not through any jankiness on the model's part. That is just user error. When the frame piece broke, I felt like, was I pushing too hard on the Millennium Falcon? Was I pushing too hard? And, you know, maybe. I was definitely like trying to do one of these things where I'm holding it in place to get a screw attached. And yeah, so I'm not quite sure exactly what happened there, but it definitely was shocking. What I also didn't find out until after I'd finished recording and shaking my head about it, it wound up cutting my finger. Nothing too crazy. It's already healed up a little bit. It's been a couple weeks now. I'm going to be doing that build in the next couple. Oh, probably finishing up that build here in the next couple weeks. Next week or so. Now that I've got some things to shoot and build and all of that, I'm kind of taking my time and making sure that I'm not doing too much. Ultimately, what happened with the Flying Dutchman in that recording process, I got way too far ahead of myself. And only then did I realize that all the recordings were just bad. And so it's kind of a my bad sort of thing. Kind of messy. Shouldn't have done that. So now, let's see if I can do this way. Now, like I said, that screw that went flying off, I did see exactly where it went. And that's just because I've got hands that just do not work. I had carpal tunnel when I was really young, and I think that is what we're looking at now too. Don't we all just wish that we were younger? Things worked the way they were supposed to. Like, I really miss the days when my hands didn't hurt after just working. Okay, that's nice put in place. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Yeah, it's just kind of like, wish my hands worked. But, you know. Oh. Wow. They hadn't quite punched out the hole in that one. How interesting. I was like, am I going to have to bust out my little mini hobby screwdriver? Or mini hobby drill? No, they just didn't quite finish punching out the piece. So I can kind of see into there right now, and it's lining up nicely. I don't know what I was trying to do there at the beginning of this section. And right now, I can tell you right now, my hands are completely numb. Numb. It is dumb. Yeah, there we go. Thankfully, though, enough of this. I can keep working even though I can't feel anything. There's a message in there, I think. And not a good one, for sure. Doesn't matter which way you shake that one. Not a good message. Okay, so we're just about done for the day, my friends. This has been an interesting couple of stages. I knew it was coming. Unfortunately, I came across a title screen to a build where someone had done this stage and these two stages, and so I kind of knew it was coming, and I was like, oh, it's not a whole lot going on. But the thing is I'm kind of realizing that they're really focusing on the frame because, they introduced that one, the whole section pieces, and the lighting and all of that, but without a place to put it, it's kind of inefficient to build it. And so it makes total sense that we're spending a lot of time here on the frame and getting the upper section done. I see you, com badge. And yeah, kind of it does make a lot of sense to me that they're doing it this way. I'm just kind of make sure my screws are all nice and tight on all my connection points here while we're still here and talking about it. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just go down the ring of screw in points and just make sure we're all, we're kind of a little off camera there. Make sure we're all tightened up and ready to go. Just being thorough, and thankfully I don't actually work on cars for a living, but my dad was, of all things, a nuclear engineer, and he taught me to be very thorough with tightening your screws and going back and checking your work, making sure that as you're going through, you're continuing to tighten things up. You never know if things are loosening up. Like, this is exactly what I'm doing right here. It seems like everything's good. Yeah. Oh, that one was kind of loose. All right. Well, as we finish this up, I do want to say thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, please leave them down below. I am curious on what your thoughts are. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I appreciate the support. We have this coming up, obviously, this morning. And then coming up on Wednesday, if I get my stuff together properly, we will have a podcast dropping, which we haven't done in a little while. So I'm excited about that. So here is the frame put together, the superstructure for the Enterprise. Stage 2 is complete. Stage 11 is complete. And, once again, want to thank you for your time. Appreciate you guys watching. Hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world, wherever you happen to be. And until we see each other next time, live long and prosper.